Welcome to Royals at the Ranch for Thursday, March 2nd, 2023, where we are going to check in with what I believe is our oldest Royal Python at age 25-ish, Betty. Hi everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary, and I'm here with our 24, 25-ish year old Royal Python, Betty, and she wanted out. She wants out a lot lately, so I thought I'd show you her enclosure and then show you how I put her into her exercise space. So she is in a 4x2x2 Zen habitat, and she has a rock cave. She has a big water dish. She's got a 3-ledge shelf with a rock on it. I tried putting a whole bunch of fake plants and stuff like this in there, but she is so big that she just mashes everything down. And so when I look at her enclosure, I always think it looks sparsely furnished, but I need like bigger, sturdier stuff to put in it. Like she has this big log and then these other 2 rocks that she uses. And then she has this humid hide that she uses a lot. So I think this looks bare when I see it, but she is very big and kind of fills up the whole space. And if I put items in here that are too flimsy or too small, she wrecks them. And you know, something she does all the time is when she wants out, she starts climbing on this substrate shield, and it was attached with adhesive to the front, but she has completely torn this off with her big body. And she gets in between the substrate shield and the doors, and she tries to push the doors open. So her doors have an actual little lock mechanism that slides in here so that she cannot get the sliding doors open on her own, because she has almost done that before, haven't you? So let's take Betty over and let her in an exercise area. So here we are at this exercise area, and ultimately I guarantee you that Betty is going to end up in this exercise tent. I'm going to initially let her go onto this climbing tree, and sometimes she spends quite a few hours on the climbing tree, but eventually she always ends up climbing all the way to the bottom and getting on the ground. Sometimes she jumps back there and gets on top of the freezer. Sometimes she goes up high. But I guarantee eventually she ends up on the ground, and that's where I don't want her, because it's much more difficult for me to keep track of her when she's on the ground. Now, when one of my Brettles pythons goes to the ground, I don't worry about it at all, because they don't stay there long. If they go to the ground, it's just to get from one place to another, and then they climb back up. But when a Python Regis goes to the ground, once they decide it's time to do that, they generally stay on the ground, and I can't keep track of them, and she gets underneath things. As large and thick as she is, she tried to get under a refrigerator one day, and I just can't have that. So when I see Betty has finished climbing up and down this activity station and she gets down on the ground, then I move her into the tent and I close it all up. Occasionally, she'll go from the activity station into the tent on her own, and if I see that she's done that, I'll take advantage of her own behavior and I'll seal it up once she's in there. But eventually, when she's done or I can no longer watch her, she's going to go from this activity station and the climbing area into this tent, where I have a small tent filled with empty cardboard boxes and paper inside a larger tent filled with empty cardboard boxes and paper. So not only can she go around the outside of this large tent, she can climb into the smaller tent and explore that, or she can climb on top of the smaller tent. So it just gives her more options. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.